Welcome back to F is for Fanatics. And today we are looking into the future of the 2023 schedule for the Florida Gators. Give me one moment. I'm going to pull it up here. Sorry about that, guys. So we're kind of looking. We're going to just run through the teams. And then what we are going to do is I'm going to give you my best kind of scenario of how I think they're going to go. Please do remember, I am a Gator fan, so the orange and blue might seep through a little bit, but, you know, it is what it is. So we're going to start the thing off with Utah at Utah. Boy, that's going to be a tough, different time change. You also have the elevation factor with elite athletes. I don't think it's that giant of a deal. Where it is going to come into to effect is, I think, the offensive and defensive line, the big boys. You know, Big Dez at 400 pounds. The big defensive tackle we got from Memphis, I think he's like 385 or something. You know, those guys, boy, it's going to be tough on them. Next, we got McNeese State. That's in Gainesville. That should be easy. I don't know why we're playing them, but like I said, if you watched any of my other cast, you got to show up against these guys. You gotta put them out of their misery early. You got to take care of business. You can't let them hang around. That doesn't look good when you let a lesser echelon team hang around. I'm not going to use the word. Some people call them chumps and stuff like that. That's disrespectful. These guys grind. They play their heart out just like anybody else. They're just a lesser echelon team. They don't have the talent level of what the big schools do. They're not chumps. So I don't like that term. They're just not at the level of what Florida and these other teams are. So we're not going to use that on this channel. We're just going to say lower echelon. Then we got Tennessee at home, and I feel good about that. And this is why. We had a thriller last year at Tennessee, and the bad guys won. And I think it's time for some redemption. And Tennessee has bad dreams about being in the swamp. I can tell you that. The heave to cleave, the last second touchdown to Callaway, it's all bad for Tennessee at Gainesville. Then we play Charlotte. I think, again, if you want to be elite, you go out, you take care of business. And that's in Gainesville also. Kentucky. It's at Kentucky. Personally, I might go to that game. That's kind of close to proximity to where I live. So we'll see how that goes. I'd like to see a win there. Mark Stoops is doing good things there. I think he's kind of reached his pinnacle. But I feel that the University of Kentucky is at its max at the football program. I see him moving on to a better program in a couple of years. And we're going to really deep dive into these schools. We're just running through real fast, see what the schedule's looking like. Vandy in Gainesville shouldn't be a problem as long as they show up. South Carolina. It's at South Carolina. I might watch that game on mute. Okay. South Carolina has the worst cockle-doodle-doo, the rooster noise, the gamecock noise that they put over the loudspeaker is absolutely deafening and annoying and terrible. It's worse than the Florida State chant. It's worse than the cowbells at Mississippi State and Starksville. It is the worst noise ever. Go watch YouTube clip of a South Carolina football highlight, and you will hear it, and you will want to. It makes your ears bleed. It's terrible. I can't watch the game without getting a migraine. It is. I don't know who came up with that at South Carolina. I don't know how a South Carolina fan can. If I was a recruit and I heard that during a game, I couldn't do it. I'd be like, sorry guys, not me. But that's just my opinion. Georgia, juggernaut, Jacksonville. You gotta keep it close. Can't be 42-20 again. Arkansas, it's gonna be a tough team. It's at Gainesville though. I like that. LSU at Baton Rouge. I'm guessing a night game because that's what they like to do. Boy, I'd like to get a win. LSU's kind of had our number lately. It is a it's a tough matchup for us for some reason. I don't really know why. They're not that great. They always seem like when we play them, like everybody talks about how not great they've been, and then all of a sudden they show up and run 500 yards down our throat, or all of a sudden the wide receiving core looks all pro, or the quarterback that hasn't scored a touchdown all season looks like a Heisman candidate. I don't understand it, but we got to figure that out. Then we got Missouri. At Missouri, probably a noon kickoff. It's November 18th. It probably will be cold. Missouri sucks. It's misery. That's why they call it Mizzou, because they want people still to come and not know that it's misery. And then you got Florida State and Gainesville. And boy, if that game's half as fun as what the last two Florida State games have been, we are in for a treat. So let's go back up to the top. I'm kind of going to dissect each game, and we'll go with what we think is a win-loss. Utah, like I said before, it's at elevation. They have something to prove. It's in their house. I think we take a loss here, and I don't think it's a bad loss. If we get the win, cool. If we take a loss, as long as it's not a true embarrassment, I think Cam Rising is coming back one more year. They always produce really good tight ends. I'm just not real. The matchup is not great for us. We got lucky last year. I don't see it. I don't see us winning that one. So we lose that one right off the rip. Personally, I think McNeese State shouldn't be a problem. We're not really going to deep dive into that. Tennessee, like I said, Tennessee. We got to beat Tennessee. It's in Gainesville. It's probably going to be close. I hope it's not. I hope we hang half 100 on them and they don't show up. That'd be great. But it's probably going to be close. It usually is close. I'm going to go Gators win. Let the good guys win one again. And it'll be a back and forth battle again. That brings us down to Charlotte. I say if we want to be an elite team, we show up for Charlotte. And we get a win there. That's 3 in a row. This is going to be the thing for Billy Napier. You got to be able, what we didn't do last year is we could never get that momentum. When we got the momentum, we couldn't ride the momentum. And that's what you got to do as a coach. So we got 3 wins in a row. Tennessee's going to be ranked coming in, I'm sure. Kentucky's probably going to be ranked. So we go to Kentucky. At Kentucky, probably a night game, I would guess. At Kroger Field. Tough place to play. Winnable game. You can beat them. I'll probably go to that game. I would love to see them win. Just for redemption, personally, for me, for having to drive 16 hours back. Just sour and sad from last year. So you're on a 4-game hot streak. And then you go to go back home and you have Vandy. And it's not the Vandy of the old, but it is Vandy. And I'm telling you this, and you may not even ever hear this, Billy Napier, but I'm letting you know just in case you do. If you want to keep your job in Gainesville, and you like it in Gainesville, and you like the weather, and you like the facilities, and you like the people, and you like your staff and the way they're living and the way they're fed, you best start beating Vandy, because Gator Nation will not stand for back-to-back losses against Vanderbilt. And I get they're not the old Vanderbilt, but they're still Vandy. You best get it done. You best show up. You best blow the doors off of them in the swamp. Do not let Vanderbilt beat you in the swamp. They will come out with pitchforks. I can't save you. I can't do it after that. If you lose to Vanderbilt in the swamp, I'm sorry. It will not be good for you. I don't know what to tell you. It might be the earliest buyout ever, because I'm telling you, back-to-back years to Vandy, if you lose to Vandy and you don't show up and they blow the doors off of you, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine it. It's just going to be bad. So let's not even think about it. So you get the win there. So you roll on this 4-game winning streak here. 5. Then you go to South Carolina, South Carolina. That is not an easy place to play. Like I said, that rooster is crowing, or cockle-doing. I don't know what it's doing. It's loud. The rooster's going. Shane Beamer's team is well coached at times. I think they're very well coached. I think he just hasn't encapsulated it all the time. They're a very well coached special teams team, but they're kind of back and forth. But you're going to have that in a young program. I think they're better. I think they're going to be better. I think they're not going to be the team you played last year. I think they're going to kind of be like what they showed up against Clemson like. I could be wrong. You know, they were kind of like us last year. They would show up one game and then they would MIA. They would just totally no-show, not get off the bus at another. It was odd. Now they were riddled with injury in the backfield. I think they had like the wide receiver or tight end playing running back at one point. So there is that. But that can be fixed with recruiting, which they are doing. They're holding their own. They're not elite. They're not Georgia. They're not doing what Florida's doing. They're not doing what Alabama is doing. But I digress. South Carolina, you get the win. Then you have Georgia. And I don't care if magically all of Georgia gets drafted. If there's some magic way that the entire roster of Georgia gets drafted. The Kings are the Kings until you dethrone them. And we have not showed up. We didn't show up last year. And until we get it within 3 points, until we get within a touchdown and work competitive, I'm not marking that even close to a win. I'm not even marking that as a maybe. It's a loss. It's a big L. And you can catch Georgia. These kids are only here every they're leaving every 3 years, especially on Georgia's pace. Kids are going to the NFL every 3 years. And so you can catch them. They're well coached. The defense is usually elite. The offense is big. They always have a good tight end, it seems like. They always have a great running back, an NFL-style back, and they haven't even had an elite quarterback. Man, if they get one of those, watch out. We thought Bama had a dynasty. Watch out. If Georgia starts racking in 5-star elite quarterbacks, we are in for a long, long time of Georgia at the top. And I don't think Bama can stop them. We're certainly not going to stop them. TCU ain't going to stop them. So, there's that. Georgia's still the king of the South. They're the king of the nation, actually. We move on to Arkansas. Arkansas. That's a tough team. And these 3 games, this Georgia, Arkansas, LSU stretch. This is what's going to show me what the culture and the strength and conditioning and the type of players Billy Napier is bringing in. Because this is a grind. You have Georgia with those big, strong, elite guys. Arkansas, they're always big. They're always strong. They're a power running team. Defense is big and strong. They're not flashy at all. They're going to run it down your throat. And then you have LSU that is known to have just strong, fast guys. So those 3 games, if we can hold up to those, you lose one to Georgia, you win one Arkansas, and you lose one to LSU, that's 2 losses. You're looking at 3 losses. You're looking at a Utah loss early, a Georgia, and an LSU. You got to beat Arkansas. It's going to be tough, but it's in the swamp. It's going to be a night game. I think you can do it. Barring injury bug, but it's going to be a battle. It's going to be one of those games that guys are going to get banged up. And that's what I'm worried about with LSU. I'm worried that you're going to go through this gauntlet of Georgia, Arkansas, LSU, and you're not going to have anything left for LSU. You're going to get banged up in Georgia, big physical team. Speed everywhere, athletes everywhere, 5 stars everywhere. And those guys on defense are headhunters. I don't know if you saw what they did to that wide receiver for Ohio State. They took his freaking head off. They're known for that. Then you go against Arkansas, and it's just going to be tough. It's going to be a grinder of a game. And then you got to nut up, and you got to get the win for LSU. You can't lose again to LSU. And it's at Baton Rouge at night. I guarantee it's at night. And that place, you think the swamp is loud? You get a bunch of drunk Louisianians in Death Valley, it's deafening. Absolutely deafening. It's rowdy. They got tradition down there. The music's pumping. The liquor's flowing. It's that 3 game from October 28th to November 11th we're gonna see what this team is made of, the core of this team, and we're really gonna see what it's made of. We're gonna see how much fight is in this team. Billy Napier talked about how much fight the team had last year. Well, we're gonna see it from October 28th to November 11th. Now, I think if you go from October 28th to November 25th and all else, there was no fight in the team, and you're doing something wrong in strength and conditioning, and you got a culture problem. Then you go to freaking Missouri, noon game, guaranteed, cold. It will be in Missouri. November 18th, you're banged up from the LSU game, from the Arkansas, from the Georgia. You're just trying to catch your breath, treading water, trying to get a win, trying to get out of misery. They call it Mizzou, but it's misery. It's flat. There's nothing around there. The college campus sucks. Nothing fun to do there. Nobody shows up. And then you got the thriller. Florida State in Gainesville. That's the game. That's the game. The record doesn't matter. That's the game that I like to watch on a cold day. And a classic on YouTube, if I can find it, when I have nothing to do. That's it. That's the one. Those Florida State games, they never disappoint. Minus the Dalvin Cook era where he ran down us for 4 years in a row. Minus that. But those Florida State games, man, they never disappoint. Recent memories, 2022, you had the thriller. We didn't get it done, but dang, what a game. You think of a missed call. We were driving, and on the last play, definitely a face mask. Anthony Richardson had a face mask missed on the last play. Should have been called, but didn't get called. Refs can't catch them all. The year before that, Dan Mullen gets fired. The team is fired up. The running back, Damian Pierce, runs in for a touchdown without his freaking helmet, like a nutso. That's the stuff. That's the stuff that makes college football great. That's the stuff that this channel's kind of built on, and that we like here. And it never ever seems to disappoint, no matter what. That Florida State game, it's always a good one. Always. So let's see here. We got Utah as a loss. We got Georgia as a loss. Two losses. Boy, it's going to be a tough one at LSU. I think if you're Billy Napier, you got to get it done. I'm going to go 2 losses. I'm going to go 10-2. You make a bowl game, and you best show up for that. Because if you don't show up, if you show up like you did for the Oregon State game, don't even book it. Because I don't even want to watch it. Because that was a disappointment. So 10-2. Could be 9-3 easily through that grueling section. Like I said, marquee October 28th through November 11th. We'll see what this team is made of. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, as always, and we will see you later. Thanks again.